Guys, it's looking like a good day because not only is the weather nice, but also our Movcan V60 Pro just showed up from FedEx. So we're gonna go ahead and unbox it. We're gonna charge it up. We're gonna show you guys how to build it, and then we're gonna take it on a ride. Well, I gotta say, this is a pretty big and pretty heavy box. I think, just from guessing and not looking at the label, I wouldn't be surprised if this box weighs close to like 100 pounds. I don't think the bike weighs near that much. I thought it said it was like 60 pounds, but man, this box feels incredibly heavy. Maybe I just haven't been exercising enough, but let's go get this thing open. There's a good chance that we just have like a lot of packing material in here. Okay, I already see on top we get some extra inner tubes. That's cool. All right, let's see what we get inside this little box here. Cool, yeah, we got some pedals. We have a toolkit. Oh, look at that. They were nice enough to include a lock. I like that, the brand, lock. So, yeah, doesn't seem, I mean, it's a little bit on the cheaper side, but it's whatever. This is a license plate holder, I think. Looks to be an okay quality unit. It appears to be 109 watt output. So its input is 100 to 240 volt, 50 or 60 hertz at 2.5 amps. So you could use this pretty much anywhere around the world. The output is 54.6 volts at 2 amps. So yeah, this seat, like I said, guys, already looks so sick. Shimano shifter, the plastic like covering the casing is cracked for sure. Hopefully it's not worse than that. If it's not worse, I don't know, maybe I'll reach out to him, but if it's just some slight cosmetic damage, all right, I'm just gonna throw this nut on here because this, the problem with like multi-tools and using those is you're not going to get really any level of torque like you should be getting on stuff like that's pretty important, you know. Seems like all the included tools will work for you, but I'm gonna be using you know, tools that I have on hand that are just a lot more, you can get a lot more torque with them, which is definitely what I want. And next one, I gotta say, it's definitely a lot more work than putting together like an e-scooter, since those basically just come folded up. Oh, I see. Okay, these right here. All right, this is making more sense finally. Sometimes you just gotta really look. Okay, so front fender, we have these stainless steel, once again, number 4 Allen key. I'm just gonna go ahead and get these on first. So Allen key on the front, yeah, this looks to be the right one, but we have extras, so it's not a big deal if it's not. And I would definitely just hand tighten these for now, because, and there's number 2 through. Now I'm just going to kind of go back and forth with tightening everything. Ooh, this one's reverse thread. So the left side one's reverse thread. I'm not sure if the other one is or not. They might both be. Huh, we got air. There we go. All right, we are out here on the Movcan V60 doing some backroad cruising. Right now I have it set to sport mode number 5, and how it works is you have this little control module here. So you can see right now I'm going down to, we're going down to 2 Eco, for example. We're set to gear number 7, which is gonna be one of our higher gears. So with something like, you know, pedal assist number 1, for example, you can still use the throttle. And you can see here, you get about a max speed of, you know, 6 miles an hour. When you use the pedals, it's, you know, it feels about like, I would almost describe it as like a street bike should feel. It's kind of funny because this bike's pretty heavy, so you know, normally you're not pedaling like a 70-pound bike. So like, for example, getting up this hill on number 1 actually is like a full-on workout. It feels like you're riding a normal bike, and I haven't even really tested it out, so let's just give this a go. We need to kind of go down a gear here. All right, that's a little better. Maybe one more. All right, now we're downhill. I'd bump it up to number 2. Doesn't feel a whole lot different, really. Maybe when we're going uphill. Yeah, you know what? It's got a little more oomph to it, actually. Number 3, oh, okay, number 3 just, yeah, if you're pedaling on number 3, like going from 2 to 3, it's crazy how much difference it makes. I'm not even pedaling right now. Hello. A couple of other e-bikes there, that's cool. So yeah, I mean, non-pedal assistance mode really isn't, it's not half bad. Honestly, when I was kind of playing around with it before I charged it, and I was like, man, this thing, like, I'm never gonna want to use the non-pedal assistant mode, but I don't know. Now that I'm getting used to it, I'm like, you know, if I'm wanting some exercise, I'm not wanting to go fast, this ain't half bad. But that's not what we're here for. We're here for the fun stuff. So what we're gonna do, let's just go normal. So I will say, one thing that's just really weird about e-bikes, I don't know if they're all like this, is it's a little, like, me barely pedaling there, it's like delayed. I don't know, it's a weird feeling. Like, I'd almost rather use the throttle than pedal. Like, it's almost like I want to pick one or the other. I'd rather either use the throttle and just have it set to full, because the throttle is variable, of course. You know, you can go slow, fast, whatever. But it seems like with the pedals, I don't know, they're almost not well calibrated to the speed you want to go. So you almost have to pedal really slow and make sure that you're in the right mode that you want to be in. So like how I would do it is just have it up to 5 and just use the throttle. So my feet, I'm no longer pedaling. I'm just using the throttle. And yeah, this thing carbs. I mean, it's pretty good. It is pretty good. It's fun. It's not super loud. I get a little bit of like, I guess you call it like brake caliper drag in the front. I can kind of hear it, you know, like the kind of like that noise. But it's not too bad, and it's actually been getting quieter as I ride, so I think it's slowly wearing in, or breaking in, if you will. Yeah, so I'm not using the stock phone mount either, by the way. This is the, I think it's Lamicall. It's like one of the #1 selling phone mounts on Amazon. They're pretty legit. Like these things, I've actually had one of these on my motorcycle before. I ended up switching it out because I didn't trust it. Yeah, I gotta say, I think 1 or 2 for pedal assist mode is definitely best. When you're using 3 and above, you might as well just be using the throttle. I mean, that's just my opinion. Maybe other people have different feel with it, but I just feel like it's way too, like this feels pretty good actually. I'm going up a hill right now. I'm not having to try very hard. It kind of feels like you're on like an elliptical at the gym that's set on like ultra easy mode. So I'm exercising, but yeah, it's nice. I'm not really having to use much of my leg muscle right now, so it's pretty easy to pedal on like #2. Yeah, I don't know, the whole pedaling thing's weird because it almost just kind of feels like the reason you have these modes, like 1 through 5, is really for the pedaling, not so much the throttle, because the throttle, like I said, is totally variable. Like you can be on mode 5 and go really slow with the throttle, but if you're on like #1, you know, the throttle is only going to give you like 4 or 5 miles an hour. You might as well not even use the throttle. You're better off using the pedals. But yeah, no, two's nice. This isn't bad. It's getting me about 12 miles an hour right now. It's just interesting because it's like, as I pedal faster, like I've ridden e-bikes before, and some of them, like as you pedal faster, you feel the motor kick in more, if that makes sense. This one, it's almost like, okay, if you're pedaling at any speed, you're gonna get 12 miles an hour exactly. That's kind of how it feels. I'm hoping I'm describing that well. And then like if we bump up to #3, so now I'm barely pedaling, and you can see we just bumped up to like 18 miles an hour. I don't know, yeah, #3 is almost kind of like, almost uncomfortable, I'd say. In terms of like, if you're in a group with people, it just almost feels like it's all or nothing when you're pedaling. I would rather, like, here's me using the throttle. Like, look how smooth. I can choose my speed, truly, you know? And then if I go #5, still, the throttle is the exact same range. It's like, I can go as slow, I mean, like if I come to pretty much a stop here, there's no way the speedometer is accurate either at the moment. Yeah, this might be, no, there's no way this is 5 miles an hour. Yeah, I don't know if the speedometer is super accurate either. I mean, I'm almost confident that wasn't 5 miles an hour. Maybe. I don't know. But, hey, you know what? Everything aside from that, the brakes feel really good, because I feel like we talked about the pedal assistance and the throttle enough. Hopefully I didn't bore you guys. The front and rear brake feel really good. They're disc brakes. They are actually hydraulic. I guess they take mineral oil. The brand of them is Karasawa, I think it is. I don't know if that's a name brand or not. I know Shimano is a name brand for like shifters and stuff. And by the way, guys, the shifter does work fine. The plastic's cracked, but honestly, I don't even think I'm gonna worry about it. If it gets worse, maybe I'll message them. I think it's got some good bearings. I mean, we're rolling. And to prove it to here as well, like here, like we're on 0. We're still rolling. I'm gonna start pedaling now because we're starting to go uphill, but on a flat surface, it carries its speed really well. All right, so I'm going back to a little bit of pedal assistance. I want to, not really because I'm like my legs are tired, I kind of like having some speed, you know? And I don't want to have to pedal like crazy to get it. #2 is pretty nice. So you guys can see consistently on no matter what surface, whether it's uphill, downhill, flat, it's pretty easy to get about 13 on it, I'd say, in the highest gear. So least amount of pedaling, highest gear. A subtle amount of off-roading. Oh goodness. All right, it's a little bit on the bumpier side. Oh. Ooh, that was a big root. Oh my goodness. All right, I'm not fully prepared for off-roading. Intimidating at all to you guys, but I got no helmet on at the moment, even though I should have one on. I mean, hey, I will say, it's getting up some pretty sharp and kind of rough, rocky terrain right now. There's people fishing over there. All right, now let's talk about comfort. I gotta say, it's not too bad. The seat, it takes some getting used to because it's, you know, it's like a cafe racer style seat. It's pretty long, so like there's definitely plenty of room for you to sit, whether you want to be like far up, far back. It's not very wide though. I mean, I guess it's definitely wider than like a, you know, one of those kind of race bike seats that you'd see like in competitions. Those things are like an inch wide. So this is, obviously it's way wider than that, but you know, I mean, it's not like the comfiest thing in the world. It's definitely not as comfy as a motorcycle seat. You know, like my KTM and my Ducati were definitely way more comfy than this, but it's not bad. I think I could easily put in like, I mean, honestly, like 20, 30, 40 miles on this, and I'm gonna feel fine. My butt's not gonna be hurting, not major fatigue. Now, I will say, when you're actually pedaling, the seat's a little weird when you're wearing shorts, because your legs kind of want to stick to it since it is kind of wide. Yeah, your legs want to stick to it a little bit, so that could drive some people crazy. I don't really seem to mind it so far, but time will definitely tell with it. Standing up wise, you can do it. It's not bad. I don't feel scared or anything really. You're pretty tall for sure. This bike is a taller bike, by the way. I guess it's something I haven't really talked about much. I do have to use my tiptoes when I stop. Let me actually, here we go, you ready? We're gonna go full throttle. All right, she's got some get up and go, shit. Yeah, that's, I mean, for an e-bike, that's plenty, that's for sure. It's motor assistance, and the last thing you want is to launch this thing away from you. All right, here's a bit of a hill. Let's go down a couple gears here. I actually haven't even been down to number 1 yet, so this is number 1, and oh my goodness, all right. Maybe take back everything I said because I am really feeling the weight of this now. Oh man. Going uphill, you feel all the weight. Like you realize, wow, this is like, it feels like you're pedaling a motorcycle. You guys ready? We're gonna try to take on this hill. Yeah, I locked up my chain. I shouldn't have shifted while we weren't moving. All right, I'm full throttle right now. So normally my Best Buy scooter, which is 500 bucks, it will go up this hill, but it'll top out at about 5 miles an hour, maybe 6. Man, this thing just eats the hills, wow. I mean, we're only doing about maybe a half or less of our top speed. I'm still full throttle, by the way. I'm just gonna stay on the throttle until I say I'm off of it, just to see what it does. But we're still going up a pretty steep grade. All right, here's a little bit of flat surface here. Throttle, and in between, like I said, the number 3 and 5 setting. So, oh wait, the battery just went back up a lot. What the heck? That's so weird. Okay. Well, anyways, we'll have to, I'm gonna see if there's an app for this thing, because I'm curious. But I definitely do not see this thing getting like close to 70 miles unless you're maybe on the number 1 setting. Obviously number 0, it's unlimited miles because you're not using the battery at all. It's just a normal bike, which I will say, that is a cool feature because like the other day, I was doing a group ride on my scooter and I ran out of battery and I did not bring my charger. It was a very long ride. We ended up doing like, I think around 30 miles, maybe a little more. But because of that, I had to walk my scooter a good 2 miles and it sucked. So that is, you know, a big advantage of this bike is the fact that, you know, you can actually just pedal it like a normal bike. Okay, so we just went on, you know, close to a 9-mile ride. And one thing I cannot figure out is how to connect the dang app. I don't know if it just doesn't work for the V60 Pro. It shows online that it does, but I tried both Apple and Android devices, neither of which would find it. I would think there'd be a Bluetooth pairing mode, but the instruction manual says nothing about it. I cannot figure anything out. I mean, I did discover some new things, like if you hold down the plus and minus button, it does give you this. You can change between kilometers, mile per hour. I don't really know what that does up there, honestly. I guess yeah, I don't know. But then when you press them again, it brings you back out to the normal menu. I also found that if you press, if you just short press the power button, you can go between, let's see, tripometer, odometer. Okay, so this is voltage. That's cool, it actually shows that. I was thinking volume the whole time, like why would you want to see volume? Way more sense. So we're at 51 volts. Current, maybe? Is that what that is? Let's try. Yeah, okay, that is like how many amps it's pushing. That's kind of cool, actually. As you can see here when I'm pushing on the throttle. Cool, so you can kind of monitor what is using the most power. And then obviously back to the odometer. I mean, I guess everything you really need to change is on here. I did find out after a little bit of research that that little warning sign has something to do with the brake levers and the brake light. I don't understand exactly what, because the brake light is working fine with both of my levers and the brakes seem to work just fine. So I'm not sure. Some people were saying, oh, it means you need to adjust something. So a couple new things. Number one is it's just about dark enough to actually use the headlight. Still not like actually dark enough. Like if I was out riding, I probably still wouldn't have it on, honestly. But it appears that's going to be plenty. And obviously you can angle it. I'm pretty surprised because I mounted this on top. I was a little worried that it covers some of the light, but it doesn't even touch the light at all. Like it's still perfectly showing. What I ended up doing was this right here is from Harbor Freight. It's the Apache 2800, and you can see here this side is closed, it's just hinged, and then this side has two latches, and it even has some other cool features that I like. So the latches are pretty easy. Right now I just have the single piece of foam and the piece of foam up top. It's obviously designed for like cameras, guns, stuff like that. It's really easy to mount. I just put in they're M5 by 0.8 for the screws. So they need to be around, I'd say like maybe an inch long, maybe inch and a half. So this road doesn't really have any lights on it, but I will say it's still not like pitch black, but it's pretty dark. The screen is bright as hell. That's one thing that I'm hoping if I ever get the stupid app to work, that I can change. Maybe lower the brightness a little bit. Because yeah, it's very bright. I mean, it's not like super bright for my eyes, but I know that for the camera's point of view, it's probably horrible. And honestly, yeah, I mean, I would definitely lower the brightness at night when I'm riding. Well guys, the consensus on this V60 Pro is it's pretty cool. I think Movcan did a really good job for the price that they're given. I think that's the number one thing I gotta remember, and you guys probably need to remember too, is that there are e-bikes that cost thousands of dollars, and I mean, some pretty crazy ones that are even upwards of like 3, 4, 5 grand with pedals still. So the fact that this one, after tax and shipping, I think I paid like $747 for it. It's pretty good for that price, and I really can't complain too much. The main complaints so far would be I need to figure out how to dim the screen for one, or I'm gonna end up having to like just probably 3D print like a black plastic cover I can keep in my hard case here, so that at night I can just stick it over that screen, because honestly, besides the battery, I don't really need to see anything else. Maybe I'll even make like a little cutout for it so I can see the battery and like maybe the mile per hour. But anyways, the app, I really want to get into the app. I wouldn't not be surprised if maybe I can change the screen brightness in the app. So hopefully I can figure that out. Let me know down below if you got any advice for that. And then other than that, like I said, just the actual bike functionality of it, there's some tweaks that could be made that'd be really nice. Like I don't really love that the pedals kind of have a delay. The pedals don't really go super well with the DC motor assist. Like it's a little weird, a little foreign, but it works. And that's really all I can nitpick on it, honestly. Other than that, it's freaking fun, it's cool. I'm gonna get some good mileage out of it. I'm already at almost 10 miles just in the testing phase. So it's gonna be really fun, and I'll let you guys know down below, or I'll make update videos as I go if anything else ends up happening with the Movcan V60 Pro. But we hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you check out Toasty Bros, Toasty Clips, and also buy a PC from PCBros.tech today. We also do repairs and upgrades as well. See you guys later, peace out.